It's those changes in attitudes, changes in nothing remains quite the same. With all of our running and all of our cunning, if we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane. Hey, everybody, how are you? It's good to see you, and it's good to be seen by you. I am Bill Sylvie, the one and only, the Dungeon Delver. Welcome to it, everyone. I'm glad you're here. You know, I'm glad that everybody made it. Lord Coron, Christopher Sackle, the Wheeling Dragon, the Labyrinth Lady herself, Don McVitie, who escaped the dungeon with a big bag of treasure, and the rest of you guys out there in TV land. How are you? I hope you are doing well. So here we are, folks. We're on the other side. We're on the other side of Guac 3, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention 3, and it seems like everybody had a lot of fun. I did not run as many games as I'd wanted to. I had wanted to do at least a couple more demos, board game demos, than I did. I had intended to play some Hero Quest, and I just ran out of time during the weekend to be able to do that. Hello, Kabuki Kid, Jorge, Mark Morrison. But there were some fantastic games. There were some, and we still had people registering like Sunday afternoon, which was so nice to see. I had people pinging me over on Discord or over on Twitter. How do I do this? How do I get signed up? I want to come and do that. So I'm like, I've been talking about it since January or something. So, but everything worked out. We played a little bit of how to play AD&D, and I hope some folks took away from that some of the enjoyment and greatness that is first edition AD&D. We had a little merch giveaway thanks to, I believe it was the Dave who provided a little bit of merch. So I hope you were there at the con and got your free swag. Now, you might be wondering, you might be saying to yourself, Bill, you said there'd be giveaways, and there's going to be giveaways. I was right tuckered out, and it was a little mid on Sunday evening, so I wasn't feeling 100% up to doing a big post-con drawing and that sort of thing. But I can still do it. We can still do it this weekend or something, maybe Saturday evening, or I can just over time draw people's names. Just do it like as a feature of the live stream. I did have a couple of panels. I hope you guys made it to the panel, the panel with Matt Finch. And I'll tell you, if you didn't make it to the panel with Matt Finch, don't worry, because Matt is actually going to be here Thursday night. Thursday evening, Matt Swords and Wizardry Finch will be here. We had Tracy Lesh in the Artist Alley, which was really cool. Things were not as organized as they should have been. My org chart is growing for the Delver's Dungeon organization. Right now, my org chart is a square that says the Delver's Dungeon in it. The new org chart, which I really should have this up on the screen, I should have this all drawn out already. The new org chart is the Dungeon Delver, and then there's a line, and then it's Mrs. the Dungeon Delver. That is my new org chart that will be going forward, how I organize things. We will not be using Warhorn next year. We will be using tabletop events, or if I find it not to be sufficient, I will use something else, but it will not be Warhorn. I found Warhorn to be kind of a pain in the ass. So next year we will do that. It will be the same time next year. I know it's been kind of hopping around, but next year we're doing it in April, same weekend, or around the same weekend next year, third weekend in April or whatever. So those are a couple of the changes going forward that we're going to do. I hope to have more panel discussions, and I hope to have more swag next year. That is more free swag for you guys next year. So those are just a couple of things that are going to be changing. Now, as far as I know, everybody seemed to have a good amount of fun. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really, really happy about that. And I'm glad you're able to play. So if you had a good time, I'm happy. Yes, start the Guac 4 hype train. Wheeling Dragon ran an excellent game of Labyrinth. That was a lot of fun. I will have to say that a lot of my praises every time. Let me tell you guys something. Friday night into Saturday morning, Doomsword was still playing AD&D with his group. They played until 4:00 in the morning. If it was an IRL convention, security would have been by saying, "You guys have to leave. You guys have to leave." So once again, Doomsword gets MVP for the con. I'm going to get Doomsword something nice, probably a couple of pint glasses, maybe a t-shirt, just whatever I can scrape together. So how would you know, Vincent? You were in and out, man. I'm just teasing you. But yeah, there he is. There's the man. And I've got other swag coming for you too, Dooms, but it doesn't relate to the guac. It just relates to your general awesomeness. Oh my God, I just realized my other camera tripod is very in the way. Hang on, pardon me. Gotta move this. Can't stand it. Now that I've seen it, it's got to go. It's got to go. Ah, that's much better. But anyway, so we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And now I want to talk business with you guys. I want to talk business, and I want to talk about the future of the channel. And it's not huge. Okay, I'm not about to announce that like I'm switching to vintage console reviews or, you know, auto repair assistance or anything like that. No, I want to talk to you guys about what I'm going to be doing with the channel moving forward as far as benefits. First of all, there's a new tier, a new Patreon tier coming. Just because I think it's there. It's going to be a not an expensive tier. So if it's something you're interested in doing, please don't sideline your bills to do it. That new Patreon tier will include a patrons only Discord. So just letting you know, I'm not closing the Discord that I currently have. But there's going to be some changes over there too that have to do with the sense of community that is or is not actually in force over there. I'm going to be culling some things. I'm going to be trimming some things back. There's going to be some adjustments. And I don't demand, like, it is not incumbent on people to be on the Discord if they watch the live streams. So if you don't like that, you don't have to be on the Discord. You can just watch the live streams. It's completely fine. There's not going to be anything on the Discord that I don't talk about on the live stream. But I'm going to be cleaning house, let us say. And again, there will be a patrons only Discord that will also go up. I haven't settled 100% on what the ceiling for the patrons only Discord is going to be, but we shall see. We shall see. So just to let you guys know. But it always seems to be summertime that brings the changes around here. And let me tell you something. If the winds of YouTube have blown you here, if you have not yet done so, please do click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. And if you want to get in on that patron stuff, there's a link to the Patreon right down there. You can click that. And for as little as $1 a month on Patreon or $2 a month here on YouTube, you can do a YouTube membership if you want. You can support the show. The Dave wants to know if the patrons only Discord will have an automotive section. No. No. Hey, Victor Gorchev, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. But anyhow, I will release details about what the next tier will do, what they will entail. Wheeling Dragon, you don't have to. You do what is most comfortable for you. Michael wants to know how many characters perish and will never be heard from again. I was on the verge, but we ran into like midnight, and folks, it was getting late. I ran the classic dungeon from the Dungeon Master's Guide, the sample map, from the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the party fought some hobgoblins and giant rats and a giant spider. They recovered the key and the map from the limed over skeleton of the abbot in the pool. So it was all good. It was all good. But I did not finish any off. Doomsword, on the other hand, his AAR for Tomb of Horrors was total party kill. Total party kill. Completely wiped out. Because y'all weren't paying attention. Guys, from the bottom of my heart, let me tell you, when you're playing Tomb of Horrors, and your dungeon master starts counting down out loud don't just stand there. Get out of wherever you are as quickly as you can. Run, exactly. Excellent. Wheeling Dragon had a little some casualties herself. So to talk about my games that I ran Dungeon, and again, Don McVitie won Dungeon. We did the simple version of Dungeon where it is just elves and heroes. And Don managed to collect 10,000 in treasure. Good evening, Boonflyer. Everyone and Bill. I guess I'm not part of everyone, you know. That what is that symbol? The upside down N, or not upside down, but the lowercase N looking thing. I'm not the union of two sets. But anyway, so yes, Don made it out and left Uncle Brat, I believe, and Vaughn in the dungeon. It was Don playing his hero. Don playing a hero won. And then on, let's see, that was on Thursday. And then on Friday, I feel like that's right. That seems right. Or maybe not. Maybe that was Wednesday and Thursday. Well, anyway, after that, I ran Space Hulk. I ran Self-Unalive Mission for Space Hulk 2nd edition. And we had a couple people playing there. That was, I don't remember who was in that. But the Gene Stealers won. The Gene Stealers managed to tackle, it's official on Discord, you're the Labyrinth Lady. Excellent. Jimmy Invictus, hello to the hospital, and I hope you're doing well, my friend. So yes, the Gene Stealers ate the Marine carrying the flamethrower, and so it was the loss of a squad in the guts of the Gene Stealer. Cannot spell Sylvie without one E. That's right. It's darn right, Luther. So, all in all, it was a good convention. I hope next year's convention is better. And I'm pretty excited about that. Let's talk just a couple of pieces. This is more social media TTRPG news than it is actual TTRPG news, because to be honest with you, I've turned it all off just to focus on the guac. Yes, I did. I did use minis for Space Hulk. Space Hulk and minis, I mean, they're supposed to be. But anyway, what was I? Oh, right. The Dungeon Minister. This actually happened last week, and I was so busy I didn't have a chance to exalt him. The Dungeon Minister hit 2,000 subs over on his YouTube channel. I have no doubt that the Dungeon Minister will, this time next year, have surpassed me in total subscribers. My subscription rate is fairly moribund now. I think I've hit saturation, which is fine because then I don't have to worry about doing an IRL walk. If 6,000, 5,000 and change of you guys don't sign up, then I don't have to worry about it. But Dungeon Minister hit 2,000, and I'm very, very happy for him. So we salute you, Dungeon Minister. And also, and this is even a little more esoteric. The other third of the Nerd Council of Doom, Yang En Zhao, he reached 1,000 followers over on Twitter, and Nerd and RPG Twitter can be a lot of fun. I'm very, 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 very glad to see him reach that. Every subscriber gets one friend, and you can irritate me live. But yeah, so salute to both of those individuals. They absolutely deserve it. Oh my gosh. So we have a good week ahead. For those of you who just haven't gotten enough Dungeons and Dragons in a virtual sense, tomorrow night, live here on this channel, we're going to be having an actual play of first edition AD&D. We are back to Greyhawk. We're going to be playing AD&D with a whole raft of people, including Doomsword Deathmaster, Tim Imholt, Thane Kyle, Kevin, Mobius, and Mark. So I'm excited about that. Wednesday, I think every time I plan this, it doesn't work out. I think Wednesday, it's turning into the Jimmy Kimmel, was it the joke that Jimmy Kimmel used to do about having a certain band appear in Blues Traveler. You know, they get to the end of the show and he'd say, "Sorry, Blues Traveler, we didn't have enough time for you." I'm getting there, Dave. Settle down. Boone Flyer, purchase back issues of my pre-made adventures. I have been thinking about that, Boone, and I'm not sure how to do it. I will let you know. But anyway, it's talking about Blues Traveler. Right. So hopefully Kyle is not turning into that. And we will have Kyle on for Hexcrawl D&D on Wednesday. We'll see. Thursday, we have guests. Thursday, Matt Finch is here in the house. So I'm excited about that. And I hope you guys are too. Friday, finally, we return to Gamma World. Kind of left on a cliffhanger last week. So we'll be back to Gamma World on Friday. Saturday, I don't care what you guys do because I ain't doing it. But going ahead in May, we're going to have the Dave on. Sky Hernstrom will be here and Rose Estes. So we have a guest packed. I may have to do some live streams in May. Because Sky Hernstrom's going to be here. The Dave, Harmony Ginger, I think is going to be. Well, I know she's going to be on. I just got to figure out which day that's going to be a weekend day. It's going to be a very busy May. So I'm hyped about that. So we have a lot of guests coming in May. Squirrel Hermit, hello. Did any new games get tried? Labyrinth, I think, is new, but Wheeling Dragon can tell me that. I'm not sure when Labyrinth rolled out. He's not going to be doing Traveler, Jimmy, not for a while yet. It's a couple of years old. Well, it was new to me. Gosh. So yeah, May is going to be busy, and Heidi and Eric will be on the show in May also. You see what I mean when I say I'm going to have to like cram in other shows and stuff? Yeah, Wildlands. Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah, Wildlands is a new game, and Wildlands was there. I did have fun. But anyhow, so yeah, this coming week is a TTRPG packed extravaganza. And next week, and the week after, and the week after, and the week after. Just don't burn myself out. Well, I'll try not to. We all do, Jimmy. We all think of David Bowie in way too tight riding pants. Briefly, what happened in GW was the party got, no, it's an RPG, Michael. The party got their hands on a Bolo, which is a huge semi-autonomous main battle tank. They drove it around the Central American plains. They came to the to the ancient city of, was it Des Moines? Or was it Sioux? No, Sioux City. Tried to shoot their way in to a restorationist base, and the restorationists sicked a death machine on them. And they got into it. They got into a tank duel with a death machine, and they lost. And it resulted in the deaths of Do Re Mi and Rex Dashington. They both got deleted on. And literally Monday and probably Sane were literally reduced to 1 hit point each. They had enough armor, well, enough hit points after shields, after what the tank took, that they had 1 hit point each. So horribly burned. They find themselves afoot because the bubble car is gone. It was shot down. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, that's what happened in Gamma World. "21 laser gun salute." 21 D6 gun salute. Yep, bubble car got shot out of the sky. The tank that they were riding in got toasted. Rex Dashington took a hit from one of the many batteries of weapons from the death machine, and then so did Do Re Mi. I haven't watched the Fallout TV show. I want to, but on the other hand, I don't want stuff to accidentally seep into the Gamma World game. I'm notorious for that, so I gotta be careful. Sorry, just responding and closing some stuff here. I do want to watch it. I really do want to watch it. It seems to be one of those things that people like either love, there are no like, it's okay, it's all right, and watch a few episodes and see how it goes. There are people who are like, how dare you? This is awful. And then there are people who are just over the moon and think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And you guys seem to be enthusiastically for it, so I'll check it out. I will definitely check it out. So is there anything, like any of you folks out there in the audience, any of you folks at all, is there anything, this is kind of your chance. Now, if you were at the guac, if there was anything, I'm just going to float it out there. If there was anything that you could have, like, you would have liked to seen, what didn't I do at the guac that would have pleased you to have been done at the guac? If you were at the guac, obviously, if you weren't, you know, you're kind of out on the fringes there, but I just want to know. I just want to know. By the way, while you guys are typing, this is gaming related. I guess an update to Fallout 4 got pushed out. And some people were like, you know, oh man, this is terrible. This wrecked my game, whatever. I thought it was, I got like 6 new missions and a bunch of new crap to add to my inventory. So I think it's pretty good. And new powered armor. I'm always about powered armor in Fallout, so I was excited about that. Michael Mertig wants to know if he can still grab some guac merch. Absolutely, positively. See, unlike other conventions, you can still get all the convention's merch. I'm putting this up here. You can still get guac merch, guys, for all of the great underground online gaming conventions. You want a kick-ass guac 1 pint glass like this? You want the latest and greatest Sky Hernstrom guac logo on a hoodie? You want a Brotherhood of the Invisible Horse t-shirt designed by Dungeon Minister? It's all still available, guys. It's all still available. Yeah, me too, Bob. I'm a PC gamer through and through. So absolutely, you can still get guac merch. It's up all the time. It's up all the time, even if you weren't there. Even if you weren't there. It's like my Led Zeppelin concert shirt, you know, North American 1977 tour. I didn't even know who Led Zeppelin was in 1977. I was 7 years old. I was only interested in Star Wars. But I got the concert shirt. And you can get the guac shirt. You can just let everybody think you went there. But it's all good. It's all good, and it's all merch. Gonna wait on the Owl Bear Brotherhood t-shirt. Maybe I'll do an Owl Bear Brotherhood shirt. Maybe I will do an Owl Bear Brotherhood shirt. I'll have to reach out to my artsy friends and add some merch. By the way, did you know, if you've just subscribed to the show, did you know that we have merch? It's in the link. It's in the description link. You guys can get actual merch with a logo designed by Tracy Lesh. I am a little disappointed, though, that Teespring doesn't have Crocs, because how cool would Guat Crocs be? Jay Tyler saw Zeppelin in Phoenix in 77. That's friggin' amazing. So it was on this tour. The Knights of the Invisible Horse. Yes. Hello, Lightmane. Greetings. I'm almost through your first volume, by the way, listening to it. You were 17 years old. That, Jay, that is amazing. Crocs were in the movie Idiocracy before they were public. Yeah, I really did like the new content. Spoiler alert. Well, actually, I think so. I'm going to have to check and see what chapter I'm on. I could not be. I could also not be. Oh, that's awesome, Jay. That is fantastic. What a story. Yeah, spoiler alert for the Fallout 4 update. Somehow the Enclave returned. Yes, you actually have Enclave soldiers poking around in Boston now. It's pretty cool. It is pretty dang cool. When I grow electronic, then we can make our own stew in a guac crock pot. Yeah, no spoilers for the Forestera's tale. Forestera's, sorry. Forestera's fate. No spoilers. You guys should go listen to it. Go check out Lightmane's channel. Subscribe to Lightmane on YouTube. Which I think it is just Lightmane, right? I think that's what it is. I've got to try the saw blade launcher. I think the saw blade launcher's got to be, if you haven't played Far Cry New Dawn, which is, it's not really Far Cry meets Fallout. It is a Far Cry game set in a post-apocalypse setting, but it's not as gonzo as Fallout. The only time radiation is an issue is if you try and leave the playable area of the map. And the saw blade launcher is a thing. I've read about the saw blade launcher. No, that's okay. So, Jay, the game code, I want to answer Jay's question here. The game code for Fallout 4 has parts of itself that are open for development. You can write modifications. Think of them as like Dungeons and Dragons modules. You can write modifications and add in new missions, new stories, new non-player characters, new weapons, new armor, new items, what have you. Or you can fundamentally alter how the game is played. If you want to make a mod so that instead of 20 people in your settlement, 200 people can be in your settlement, you can do that. People have done stuff like create swimming pool mods. People have created mods for like different ways of fast travel that involve cars. Like it doesn't really change, like there's not a drivable car, but it's just outside of wherever you fast travel to, there's a car. So there's all different kinds of modifications that people have created to the game. Now you have to be careful with some of them because some of them can negatively impact the core of the game itself if you use them improperly. Like I use one because like it grates on the chalkboard of my soul that the Fallout games are set 200 years after the bombs, and it looks like it's been about 20 months since the bombs fell. Like there are people living in literal like cardboard box buildings. Like it's been 200 years. There should be a brand new functioning society. I should have come out of Vault 111 into like a cyberpunk world. 200 years. Instead, I'm still walking around ruined buildings with skeletons in them and newspapers from the day the bombs dropped. Good night, Mark Morrison. Feel well. Be better. Feel better. Be well. And it's like, oh my God, please, could you pick up a shovel? And I'm just talking about the games. The TV show and the games are separate stuff. So you walk down through Boston and you walk past high-rise buildings that are boarded up. Like you'll find people living in literal ruins. Like their beds are filthy mattresses lying on the ground, open to the sky. And they have a cook fire. Right next to them is a boarded up house. The only damage to it is a little bit of paint worn. And it drives me up the wall. It drives me up the wall. I'm sorry. You know, my dad drives his Brahmin, which is not a car, that's a two-headed cow in Fallout, and brings us to the safety of Diamond City. I'm spending a few caps on a broom and a crowbar. I'm going right back outside. I'm prying the boards off of that 3-story brownstone, and I'm going to work. I'm making it a livable place. That's why I've installed mods that let you build really high. All of my settlements have skyscrapers in them. They have a pub that sells skeletons from the blast in it. Yeah. Oh, they definitely seem to have enjoyed Wildlands. Tonka Todd, thank you for running it. Thank you so very, very much for running it. And I hope you'll run it again at Guac 4. Sorry, my mouth was parched. So we know the situation in Hiroshima or Nagasaki as far as livability or radiation in the area after only 7 or 8 years. Hiroshima and Nagasaki are booming, bustling cities. You can walk to the Peace Dome in Hiroshima and stand there, and it's not much higher than the background radiation. The whole thing where it's like, oh, there's a crater, and you know it's still glowing, and you're still, oh, you know, your rads are going up. I just can't. But anyway, yeah, fall in 200 years, like, and what cracks me up is there's all of this high-tech gear. There's fusion reactors sitting abandoned in buildings, still outputting electricity. And yet, like 20 feet to the left of it, there's two raiders living in a shack that's like lit by Coleman lanterns. Yes, the Elfstones of Shannara is post-apocalyptic. But it is, Shannara is really, 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 really far in the future, post-apocalyptic. And it basically, the bombs tore a hole in reality and created magic stuff. So that's why the world is all D&D in the Shannara books. I said Brooks. That's kind of the same. Yes, the Elfstones of Shannara or Shannara, however you pronounce it, did have a TV series for it. I don't think it did that. You know what? Before I go off on it, let me see. Let's see. The Shannara Chronicles. Yeah, it lasted 1 year. Canceled after 2 seasons, and then it was officially concluded in 2018. So it's long gone. I literally like read the first couple of pages and something distracted me. And then I did not, whatever. I'm not saying they're bad or that I don't ever want to read them. I might read them, but I just passed on them and I never got back around to it. Maybe I'll do that for summer reading this year. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think I'll put that on my summer reading. Oh, good Lord. How many of these are there? So many of these books. Whew. Well, I guess I better get reading. Michael asked a good question here. Why do I think we can't seem to get a good D&D? Okay, I'm going to explain this. And I talked to Tim Imholt about this. I have not yet, Kabuki. I'm going to. So here's the thing. A book about a book about D&D was published, and I think it was probably the best D&D book, the best D&D novel. And it was written by Andre Norton, and it's called Quag Keep. It uses people playing D&D and then sort of getting pulled into the D&D world. that sounds familiar, as a framing device. But it is strongly implied that at-table events are directing what's going on in the book. If you make a Dungeons and Dragons movie and you don't include anything relevant to the game, all you are doing is making a fantasy movie. And we have lots of those. You're making a generic fantasy movie. A Dungeons and Dragons movie has to have a framing of how the game works. It has to bring the viewer in through that window. Hoop Dreams is not about the trees that get turned into a wooden basketball court. Major League is not about the life of the bases that the players run around, or the story of the kernels of corn that get popped to make the popcorn for people to watch. Sports movies are about the people that play the sports. A good story about those people is what makes them so compelling and watchable. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The best baseball movie of all time is Major League. It is. I'm sorry. If you disagree with me, you are objectively incorrect. It's not a subjective thing, it's an objective thing. It's about the guys that play the sport. Okay? For the character of Jake Sullivan in the game, he does it because he loves baseball. He wants one last chance. And so does everybody else. They love the sport. And they love it so much that they'll do it with an awful team just to get that one last shot at glory, or to get their foot in the door and do better. And we experience that through their eyes. The tension of that final pennant game against the Yankees. Unbelievable. Just amazing. A D&D movie or TV show that just says, here's some fantasy warriors and they're going on a quest to stop the dark one, and this is the funny one, and this is the serious elf, and this is the grumpy but lovable dwarf, and this is the weird guy who's like a demon with horns, and they cast spells and sometimes they backfire. Ha ha ha. Congratulations. Did you literally just did every fantasy movie since the beginning of cinema. There is nothing uniquely Dungeons and Dragons about it. If your criteria is that it's fantasy, then guess what? Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger was a Dungeons and Dragons movie. The Hobbit, both the animated and the live action, are a Dungeons and Dragons movie. Wizards is a Gamma World movie. Gotcha. But guys, A proper D&D movie has got to include people playing D&D. Do you know what would have made the 2000 D&D movie a good, not just a good movie, a great movie? A great movie. Parties lamenting the death of their friend. They see his name turn to gold dust and fall off the gravestone. And they look at each other, they smile knowingly, and they ride off into the sunset. Pull back. Altitude pull back. Up out of the atmosphere. Up away from the world. Up through the stars. Up through the galaxy. Everybody's sitting at the table. Jeremy Irons is playing the DM. All the characters in the movie are playing that. The guy whose character died, his life's like, I can't believe he killed my character. So, well, my friend, that's what happens in Dungeons. And to have shown it to have been a D&D game. Because I got some news for you guys. All right. All you people who hate on the 2000 D&D movie, and not incorrectly so. I'm not calling names. The jacked up weirdo events in that game are probably a lot closer to how D&D plays. You might think that your D&D game was like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings or the TV show Game of Thrones. It's probably a lot closer to the 2000s D&D movie. That would have been a bold and fun move that would have made that movie not shit. This problem he had with the blue lipstick on Bruce Payne. Yeah. A D&D movie or TV series has to be about the play of Dungeons and Dragons. People playing interspersed with what's going on the table. The gamers you can watch it on YouTube and you can watch the sequel on YouTube. The gamers actually kind of comes close. Oh, ha ha, Doomsword, very funny. See, I don't agree, Kabuki. I respectfully disagree with you. You've got to show people like that people that play D&D, it is a fun pastime. Again, I think if you're just doing a fantasy, I mean, a D&D movie has to be about people who play D&D. And you intersperse it with the fantasy sections. With the in-game stuff. And do you know why I know I'm right? Not sports movies. Do you know why I know I'm right? Do you know how I know I'm right? 3 words. 3 words. 3 words, and I'm going to win this argument. And you're going to go out there and you're going to go, holy shit, he was right. By the way, I'm going to need a super chat. I've said a couple dirty words. 3 words. You ready? You ready? The Princess Bride. You're welcome. I missed that, QPF. I'm sorry. I missed your reference to Cloak and Dagger, which is a pretty good fantasy role-playing game, adventure role-playing game movie. Which they're actually, Ideal Toys actually released a quasi role-playing game of Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Bob Jester. Orbital Air, I'll drag you out behind a car. To Blave. It has a narrator. It has someone participating and hearing the narration. It has pauses in the narration. And it's eminently quotable. Oh, I should. Dragonheart could have been pretty good, but Dennis Quaid as an English dragon slayer, I just like, what were you guys thinking? No, if Dennis Quaid is good in a lot of stuff. I mean, a whole lot of stuff. But honestly, stacking him up against Connery, I was like, ugh. I haven't seen Legend in so long. I need to go back and check it out again. But see, they didn't go over the top on the switching back and forth between the narration and what was going on in Princess Bride. Well, yeah, he was amazing. James Earl Jones was absolutely amazing. You must have watched a different Enemy Mine, Robert Phillips. He was they undergo the no, that's no. The gleam in the eye of Set. Oh, that's very cool, Damien. I didn't know that. I'll have to check it out. Galactic Chaos wants to see that or I'm sorry, Daniel Rowan does. Enemy it's, you know what? There are two versions of Kairos is Narnia more of a D&D movie? Not as such, because the kids are actually going to Narnia. It's not a narrative game thing. They were actually there. Hello, Dragonlance Saga. But yeah, there are two complete versions of Enemy Mine. And I'm not referring to that statement made earlier. So they filmed Enemy Mine, and then they didn't like the director's cut at all, and they brought in Wolfgang Peterson, and he reshot the entire movie. Like he literally. So somewhere out there in a vault somewhere, possibly, is another, like a completely different version of Enemy Mine, which just kind of blows me away. You know, it's like, really? I should check out Atomic Punk 2160. Not familiar with it, Raven. Although I do like the song Atomic Punk by Van Halen, which is not a punk song. Yeah, you know what? I have friends who, like, yeah, Morgan Le Fay. Helen Mirren. I have friends. So this has always been a thing. Watching bad movies and ironically, quote unquote, enjoying them. I'm not one of those people. I loved Mystery Science Theater 3000, especially the Joel seasons and a few of the Mike seasons. It just kind of, I don't know. I just thought the writing wasn't as good after a while. But I'm sorry. I'm not one of those people that'll sit and watch fucking, like, oh, let's go watch, we're going to watch Showgirls. We're going to watch Battlefield Earth. It's so bad. It's good. And we can watch. No, I'm sorry. No. I have a limited number of hours left to live on this world, as we all do. And I'm sorry. I'm not watching. I'm going to ironically watch a Z grade movie. I'm just not. Like there are some absolutely classic science fiction movies from the 50s that you would consider B today. Them is one. Mario Bava's influential Planet of the Vampires, It, The Terror from Beyond Space, the original The Thing. What else? An absolute favorite of mine, I adore it, is Robinson Crusoe on Mars. I love Robinson Crusoe on Mars. Not a great movie in particular, but I happen to think it kicks ass. But yeah, by and large, like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to watch Plan 9 from Outer Space ever again. No Bride of the Monster. No Monster Go-Go. None of that. Not without the aid of Mystery Science Theater 3000 to enjoy laughing at something. I just can't. I'm sorry. Is there much difference between basic? Yes, there is, Jay. Basic and expert Dungeons and Dragons, you have to have basic to use expert. In fact, I'm not just going to reach up and grab things because we all know what'll happen if I do that. I'm going to carefully pick these sets up. So yeah, to use this one, you've got to have this one. Did I do that? No. To use this one, you've got to have this one. This is for character levels 4 and up. This covers levels 1 through 3. But all the essential rules are in here. Repo Man. Yeah, Repo Man's a lot of fun. I like Repo Man a lot. So yes, they're the same rule set, but you can't just get the expert set and just use it. It doesn't, it assumes that you have this so you can make characters. Well, I know where they are on my shelf because they're like magenta and blue. I can't miss them. That is correct. There is a one-page conversion set in case you started off with this one and then went to expert. But then, of course, your exit point for this one could also be AD&D, which I think is pretty cool. They did not precede AD&D, Jay. So here's basically, no pun intended, the timeline. There was original Dungeons and Dragons and all of its supplements. Then, in 1977, while the Dungeon Hobby Shop and TSR Direct Order still had original D&D sets, they more or less officially discontinued support of OD&D. They released this Holmes Basic set, which I don't think you guys can see what I'm pointing at, but there's a Holmes Basic set over there, or Holmes Introductory. Which Holmes Introductory, many times in the first few pages, I think it's like 4 in 2 pages, references, if you want to go higher level, get Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And then AD&D started coming out. Now, there was some money kerfuffle with Dave Arneson. So TSR released Basic Dungeons and Dragons. And they started calling the introductory set Basic Dungeons and Dragons. But Advanced D&D was their primary line. But they had 2 lines that they supported. They had Basic, which was a simpler version. And they had Advanced, which was a more complex version. And people absolutely loved that they had both things. It didn't cause any product confusion. So that basic that set, that basic set, that Holmes Basic set is kind of the point of diversion. You can go to AD&D from there, or you can go and continue playing Basic from there. But you don't need Holmes Basic to play either Moldvay Basic or AD&D. You could just start buying the AD&D books and go from there. Did D&D always use D20s, and when did the Basic 7 become standard? Yes, a lot of people think that chainmail was just kind of the combat system, but Basic D&D, original D&D immediately included what it called the alternative combat system, I'm going to refer to my single bound volume of the OD&D rules. So this is on page 19 of Men and Magic. If you have an OD&D set and want to follow along. The alternative combat system uses a 20-sided die. But it is called alternative because the thought was you would be using the 2d6 system in chainmail. But we immediately got those sets. And as far as the dice themselves, originally there were no D10s. However, you could get percentile D20s that had 0 through 9 twice, and you would color like half of those black and the other half red. And then if you rolled you could use it as a D20 or as percentile dice. You'd roll it twice and just read whatever number. So if you had a black 5 and a red 1, it was 51. But a black 5 and a black 1 would count as 6. Holmes basic with chits but no dice. My Holmes set up there actually did come with the dice order form in it, and not a set of Holmes dice. I did order a repro set of Holmes dice, and I've got kicking around here somewhere. Not a Marine, Robert. Wouldn't know about that. The chits were actually there was no punching them. They were to be cut out. Don McVideo and some of those dice from original Rollmaster. That's right. Wow, 40 of you guys out there in the chat. Thank you all so much for joining us. We're probably going to ramp up in the next few. So I've got that big Monday night AD&D game coming. I'm excited about that. Yeah, but guys playing D&D in the joint will find many, many different ways. Chits is usually the accepted way, but there's other guys that have done like spinners, that sort of thing. Depending on who the COs and the warden is, they could either be like, yeah, you can play this in the rec room and yada, yada. Or there's some that are like, it's gambling and it's Satanism and you're absolutely not going to do it. And if we find it in your cell, it's contraband and you will lose privileges. And I have heard that from people who have been in the joint. Jimmy Invictus, be well, brother. Take care of yourself. Or let them take care of you in the hospital there. With a little bit of work, J, modules could be used between those sets. For example, Keep on the Borderlands, which was the pack-in module for basic Dungeons & Dragons forever. Although B1 was the original pack-in module. But thank you also, Todd. But B2, Keep on the Borderlands, says, hey, with just a little bit of work, you can use this with AD&D. I mean, honestly, a good DM can change up a module just like that. I've known DMs who've run the entire Against the Giant series for Mold Bay Basic because all those giants are in there. You just have to adjust their hit dice and make a few tweaks here and there. Don had a thrower in a campaign. You understand why they don't allow dice in prison. Yow. But yeah, I mean, you can absolutely, I mean, you might have to adjust stuff up or adjust stuff down, but there's no reason. A good module is a good module. That's interesting, Bob. I wonder how did you get your players up past third level? Did you just make stuff up or what? Only issue with basic is a plate mail is cheap. What is it, like 150 a set, 200 a set? I don't recall. Oh, well, I guess that'll do. So I think we're probably just going to go ahead and wrap up there. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. And all kidding aside, thank you very much, Bob Jester, for the super. I do appreciate that. Guys, again, if you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button. Like the video. That's very helpful. If you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment down below and tell me what you liked about the video, and I'll do more of that. Oh, you're quite welcome. Quite welcome to observe the awesome shirt. But anyway, so be good to each other. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be playing some first edition AD&D with the whole crew, and I hope you guys will hang out and have fun with us. But listen, whether you're playing basic, advanced, whatever, guys, please do be careful. And keep your eyes out for the dreaded owl bears. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.